Phase Hero episode 47 on the podcast is starting right now. This is Daredevil Born Again episodes 5 and 6 review and discussion because they gave us a double feature, double whammy, double Daredevil all on a Tuesday night. Don BD joined tonight by Aaron Perrine.
What's going on, everybody?
We got Jenna Anderson.
Hey, everybody.
We got Jamie Drack.
Good evening.
Good evening, and we got 100 people watching live. What up, everybody? Welcome to the program. Full spoilers for Daredevil episodes 5 and 6 are officially fair game in the comment section in the live show. You've been warned! If you want to hear from the directors, Jeffrey Nachmanoff, episode 5. If you want to hear from director David Boyd, episode 6. Those episodes are also available now on the YouTube channel and on the podcast platform. But right now, it's our turn to talk about it. We'll go around with reactions. Let's break this in half. We'll do 5 first, and we'll do 6 second, as if it's like a double feature of Phase Hero. Free Phase Hero for the people. Jamie, what'd you think of episode 5?
I loved episode 5. Pure television. It's like basically a bottle episode, all in one place. I think it is my assumption that this was maybe part of when it was supposed to be 18 episodes because it feels like real TV. And I actually kind of bums me out that they dropped these together because I feel like they didn't trust audiences to just appreciate a normal hour of television. They were like, oh, we got to give them the juice too. And it's like, no, I wish we could have just lived in this amazing episode with Daddy Khan. It's so great. Oh my gosh. I like this, like true television right there. I was really into that episode.
Aaron?
After this episode, after I got a hold of this one, I texted Brandon, like, that's my favorite episode of the season, like, for sure. And we'll get into how everybody feels about it, but I'm very happy. I was so excited. Like, from the moment we saw him, and they did give Jamie a punchy punch. That's right. There was some of that. We'll talk about that later. I just really enjoy living in these characters. I love freaking Charlie Cox being charming. Like, I wish the entire show was just Charlie Cox being charming. It gets in the way of my other things. So I'm elated. I cannot wait to talk about this one.
Jenna,
I'm going to be honest, y'all. I heard a slight reference to West Coast Avengers and I blacked out for like a solid 5 minutes. I was so happy about that, and we will get into the specifics of it, but I was elated. I agree with Jamie. I agree with Aaron. I think this felt like true television. Everyone has said with these shows, they want them to feel like television and not just a really long movie. They want to get back to the 22 episode seasons and the procedural kind of format. This was that in spades. I agree with Jamie of like only having 8 or 9 episodes of this season. I can understand how people are like, oh, this is spending a lot of time we could be spending elsewhere. But I think it was a testament to just who Matt is as a character and the kind of setup that like we get in the MCU all the time. It's just like we don't normally get those explored on screen. So I really enjoyed it. Grania Godfrey, who wrote this episode, also worked on the Arrowverse and a bunch of stuff like that. So I love that we're getting TV writers to come in and really just kind of cook because it's been so much fun.
Yeah, I think this is a good episode, especially of television. It's also my least favorite episode of Daredevil Born Again so far. And I've seen the whole thing. I know. I knew nobody would be surprised. And I say that having liked the episode. I just think the other episodes are better, in my opinion. And I think that's because I'm a brat for stories moving forward. And maybe that puts me in that awful camp of I want long stories playing out. I love the episodic nature of this show. But that said, this episode 4 left with so much momentum for the story, the overall story, and this was such a detour from that. And that is the only reason that I'm really critical of it. Other than that, this is fantastic, bottle television. When I hear the term bottle episode, I get PTSD to The Walking Dead from when The Walking Dead actors got too expensive and they had to do entire hours with Tara and then just crap. And that's when The Walking Dead went downhill when they started. So I get PTSD with that.
Can I just give a little lesson? Because a lot of people, like when we had, like when Last of Us was on or whatever, some people think bottle episode means just we're going with a new place or following new characters. But bottle episode comes from back in the day it was like BD said, a budgetary thing where an episode would take place in one location specifically to save money. Now, I doubt that Marvel was trying to save money with this one, but it is much more of a bottle episode than we've ever gotten from them before in terms of its own unique in one place, like, Community, they're all trying to find the pen kind of a thing.
I'm just glad somebody has a different opinion. I'm sad that it's me, but
is it ever enough, Brandon?
It's never enough for Brandon. Where was Spider-Man during the bank robbery? If he was there, 11 out of 10. No, I thought it was a very good episode, I think, especially given the fact that they aimed to make a bottle episode. I can also tell you this is the one untouched episode of the whole show. This was part of the plan for the original vision on Daredevil Born Again. It remained intact for this new edition of Daredevil Born Again that we ultimately got here, which involved a lot of reshoots and rearranging. It's a solid episode. It just is. It's good. I think they were wise to release them back to back, because in today's climate, a bottle episode, especially having been so embedded in the trenches of The Walking Dead, Jamie, say what you want with your face. It's fine. I'm guilty of it.
I get it. That's the thing. I get it. It just makes me sad. I get it.
Because if people reject this, which our comment section is overwhelmingly positive on this episode, more than I expected. But that said, if this episode is poorly received and it's a bottle episode, you have a full week of people saying, Daredevil Born Again sucks, Disney ruined it. Now it's the opposite. People loved it. And then they got episode 6, which was fantastic as well. And I know everybody could roll their eyes and everything, but we live in a world where that is just, unfortunately, the reality. And it resulted in them, I think, because of that, and I don't know that that's the reason, but I think, obviously, you look at this and go, okay, episode 5 is a detour. Let's make sure people don't get frustrated. And also, we don't have to overlap with Andor too much if we do it that way. So I think it's a win-win. But yeah, solid TV. All right, let's get through it. Yusuf Khan is filling in for Stephen Aldridge at the bank. I Googled Stephen Aldridge, couldn't find a Marvel reference that made sense to it. Jenna, if there is one, cut me off.
Not that I know of.
But I know Jenna's going to want to talk about this next bit. Kamala is in California visiting La La Land. We all know she knows Kate Bishop. Could this be a West Coast Avengers setup, a Young Avengers setup? What's going on?
I think, if anything, it feels like more West Coast than Young Avengers. I mean, we know that they're friends and we know that they're wanting to set up a Young Avengers, but we also know Kate has a very wealthy aunt that she referenced in Hawkeye, and that aunt has a very instrumental role in setting up the West Coast Avengers in the comics. So I'm just clowning for that because it seems fun to do so. And honestly, who knows at this point with like Vision Quest and Wonder Man and stuff on the horizon, that almost feels more likely to a degree than like the Young Avengers does right now.
What do we think she's doing out there?
Just hanging out. Maybe Kate has set up there in like a more consistent capacity. Like I've kind of said on the show, my dream for Hawkeye season 2 would be her in California being a private eye, which is an arc that was already explored in the comics. So maybe she's just hanging out with Kate and with Cassie Lang and just whatever from there.
I
would like to say people are saying Cassie Lang. Cassie Lang lives in San Francisco, which is like 6 hours away.
That is true.
I just, for those who don't live in California, those are really close to each other. You might as well be going to from Texas.
I want to shout out Thomas Rochester. Thank you for the $9.99, my friend. Hey. 3 episodes behind on Born Again after tonight due to Jiu-Jitsu and Andor season 2 prep. Just popping in to say hey to the Phase Hero fam. Y'all kick ass. Love y'all. Yeet. Thank you, Thomas.
Hey,
we really appreciate that. But catch up on Daredevil, my friend. The show's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I'm even making a Robert De Niro face for it. Apparently, it was an accident, but I saw it. I was like, might as well lean in. I also noticed that Matt said Miss Marvel. I'm not familiar. I'm not sure I'm familiar. Do we think he's lying, or is Miss Marvel not that famous in the MCU?
Maybe she's not famous in like New York City proper, but she's famous among her community. And I mean, it's also there's so many questions about just the larger superhero community in the MCU of like who is even aware of each other, which Avengers are aware of each other. That is just a huge question in and of itself. So I can understand why Matt wouldn't know that there's a teen superhero in Jersey City, but I think she's still well known among the people that know her.
I feel like Matt would know about a superhero, especially that close by. So my instinct was maybe he's playing dumb, but then I was like, maybe they're trying to send the message of people don't know. But aside from the people who have met her, like, Carol and Monica and these other characters who have directly interacted with her.
I was going to say.
On this. Aaron, go first.
Yeah.
Aren't you? You're the Jersey person. Like, how? It's a different world, the city in Jersey, right?
I mean, yeah, but like if I'm in New York and some crazy shit's going down where a teenager is saving lives in New Jersey with superpowers and I'm a superhero lawyer, I feel like I would hear about it. Jersey City is an extension of New York.
It feels like
if you're watching the local news, my grandparents live in New Jersey, 30, like not even 30 minutes outside the city. And their local news is the same. It's the same. And I do find it hard to believe he wouldn't know, even just like in passing that they're, because like her powers are kind of crazy. It's not like she's just like a regular vigilante. She's got very intense powers. But my other thing is like, why would he lie? So I'm really torn on this one. But
to the point
Funko,
that they're making
Funko.
Funkos. They're making Funkos about her. She's got to be kind of famous. Or was that a custom Funko, he said?
He said custom. I don't know if the custom was just the bejeweling, which is like not a thing that Funko offers anymore, especially on like a lot of run-of-the-mill superhero pops like that. I also, Jamie, the way you said local news, like the accent that popped out at that phrase was delightful.
Did it?
Yes.
I just want to say that he should have this Barbie should be the next thing that he gets. That was a really good Funko.
Yeah, the Funko looking homemade. I think that combining the fact that it might be a custom Funko and Matt not knowing who she is, I think Kamala as Ms. Marvel might be a pretty well kept secret in the MCU at this point. But we'll see. We'll see. Matt, when he left the bank and noticed it was being robbed, was he on the phone with Heather at that point?
I thought it was
Kirsten. It was Kirsten McDuffie, right? It wasn't. Yeah,
I'm pretty
sure.
And
he just hangs up, says call 911. Doesn't say why. Doesn't say where to send him. Just call 911 and hangs up and turns around and goes back to the bank. I thought that was kind of funny.
That's such a TV thing. Like you don't have to think about the logistics of how everything works.
I'm not criticizing. I just thought it was funny. But then, okay, so that goes to a bank robbery, which, you know, he goes and helps Yusef and all this stuff in the bank robbery. There is comics precedent for Daredevil in a bank robbery. And more specifically, Kevin Smith wrote a Daredevil Bullseye run, and it's called The Target. And Daredevil just beats the absolute piss out of the Owl in that comic when he's trying to rob a bank. And it's like basically the context there is he's letting out rage that he wants to direct at Bullseye because Bullseye killed Karen at that point in the comics. And yes, everybody's died a million times in comics and come back to life and everything. So Bullseye killed Karen, and as far as Matt knew, and he was stomping out a criminal, pretending basically it was Bullseye to himself. And I feel like this episode clearly pulled from that in a sense. And I know Brad is a fan of the comics, and the people who work on this show love honoring that lore. So I think to me, this is like, okay, he's got the pent up rage over Foggy dying when he beat up the criminal at the end of this and in the staircase and all along the way. That was him getting that rage out and wanting to embrace his Daredevil side, which it is a bottle episode. But to me, that's the number one thing this episode accomplishes in terms of the overarching story. It keeps setting the stage for Matt wanting to be Daredevil.
Absolutely. Also, can we put Brandon Moore's comment up? Because I need that to be the post-credit scene of the show. I think that is utterly delightful. We need a scene with Muniba Khan sending Matt Murdock home with 10 containers of Pakistani food.
I love that he's hung out with the Walters family. It's time to get over there with the Cones. I like the idea of like Matt just going to every family in the MCU and having a little meal.
He does use his ears to, I don't know what the ear equivalent is to like sniffing something out. But that's what he does with the bank vault. What would that be? Like I don't know, eardrums it out.
That was a cool sequence, though. Yeah.
Like breaking safes with his ear holes.
Sometimes you just got to put your ear hole on a safe. And then the what kind of lawyer are you? A really good one line, calling back to Spider-Man No Way Home, where the same line was used. Ultimately, staircase fight in a New York City alleyway. It's awesome action. We got punchy. Jamie, are you satisfied?
Punchy. I love that stairwell fight. That was so rad.
He caught the shotgun.
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah. They're like,
that was great. That was good stuff.
The chat is talking about the leg snap later in the episode, which like I win. I've seen the Harley Quinn like Birds of Prey scene where she snaps the guy's leg back and forth like multiple times, and like this still grossed me out, even though I can like quote that scene from memory. Like that, this was just wild to see.
We got a $4.99 from Alex B. West Coast Avengers so far: Kamala, Kate, Shang-Chi, and Scar? Question mark.
I don't know if we're seeing Scar anytime soon.
I don't know if we're ever seeing Scar again.
We have to get rid of Scar because he's just not cute enough to date. Like we need a new son.
He needs like a makeover montage if we're going to see him again.
the MCU is at a point where it is just kind of ignoring stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if we'll ever see Scar again. I think we probably will, but there's really just so minimal reference to the fact that Wilson got shot in the face and took an arrow to the chest. And, you know, in this next episode, we're going to talk about his suits are starting to not fit. So he's growing, but this man already got blown away in an explosion and was big enough then and superpowered that I don't know. It's sort of starting to, the connectivity is not as there as it once was. And the jewel ultimately is left with Yusef Khan because Matt Murdock is just such a jewel himself. He leaves it with Yusef to return or do whatever he pleases with, I guess. The woman was in on the bank robbery, an Irish bank robber on St. Patrick's Day. First time we saw St. Patrick's Day in the MCU. All good stuff. Also, fun fact, this was filmed in the same bank that they filmed Inside Man in. So that's cool. Yeah, it's going to be the last thing to film there because they were demoing the interior after this filmed. But thought that's a nice little fact. I think Denzel is still hiding in the wall. And if you look close enough. Yeah, so the jewel not going to be relevant, I don't think, going forward. I don't think it's going to really matter. They did make the little cling sound when Yusef held it up, but I don't think there's anything more to it. So that's all I've got for this episode.
Order was restored. That's what it really felt like in that scene. Of like, it's back in its rightful place, and he did it in a sneaky way. And this is fully a bottle episode outside of the guy that they were trying to get the jewel to being in the subsequent episode. Like, we can move on now.
So is there anything else from this episode you guys wanted to talk about?
I don't think so.
All right, let's go around with our 10 scores here. Jamie, what you got out of 10 on episode 5?
In the spirit of just how happy it made me, I'm gonna give it a 9. I think it's my favorite one so far.
Wow.
A 9. Okay. All right. Jenna?
It definitely isn't my favorite episode. Like, episode 3 is still a very high bar for me personally, but
I hate episode 5 with me confirmed.
No, your ranking is going to be so much lower than the rest of ours. I'm going to give it a 7.8.
7.1. And you said I was going to be by far the lowest. Wow. Okay. I might surprise you.
All right, then.
Aaron.
I don't think I'm going to get higher than this. I know that we're going to be hurt. CC Jamie Direct, but I'm going to give it a 9 too, just because I don't know. I liked it so much. Like, I don't know. I wish I could live this episode. If the entire tone of everything was this, I'd be like, sure, no. Franklin and Bash, but Charlie Cox, sign me up.
Plus Miss Marvel crumbs for you.
Plus Miss Marvel crumbs and Young Avengers / West Coast Avenger crumbs. You know, wait, was that? Brandon is like showing for the audio listeners, like he's showing so many of like the comments. I saw someone say the episode felt like filler. That's really interesting to me after everybody spent 2 years.
This is a filler episode. This is the closest thing to a filler episode you're gonna get.
I hate that term so much. I hate that term. It boiled my blood. This is television. If you want a movie, watch a movie. There's no such thing as a filler episode. It's television. I really.
Charlie and Desmond and Sawyer and Jin restarting the Dharma van was a filler episode.
Oh my god!
It was still really good.
But okay,
it's called a side quest. Call it a side quest.
And what you're describing is in a network television landscape where they need to make triple the number of episodes a season than we're getting of a season of Daredevil. This doesn't feel like filler when there's only so many episodes to deal with. I do think bottle episode is the more correct term. I'd argue it feels
more like filler when there's only so many episodes to deal with. When there's 23 on Lost, it's one thing to have a side quest where you gotta restart a van.
I would argue some of the other Disney Plus shows having the episode 4 where we completely jump out of reality or pivot to another character or break that, those are almost more filler to a certain extent than this essentially was. I do think bottle episode is a better term for it.
I just want to say, I better not hear Adam Barhart, no Daredevil fans, talk about oh my God, taking up one episode of an 18 episode run with this is bad when I only got like 6 episodes of Sam and 6 episodes of Ms. Marvel. Like, what? Jamie's still sitting on the end of a dock waiting for freaking Wanda to come back.
Yeah.
Jenna hasn't heard from Tatiana Maslany in like 2 months. She's growing concerned.
Now, that said, I'm at a 7.9 out of 10.
Okay.
I think it's a good episode. I do stand by this is off the beaten path of the plot. Call it a side quest, call it a filler. To me, that's the same thing. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. I like, for my taste, given that we only have 9 episodes, I want them to keep moving things. And I think they expected we would want that. That's why we got 2 episodes tonight. I think people were pleasantly surprised with the quality of this episode. It's a good episode, but it's fine. It's okay. They're not all going to be 9s for me. I'm sorry, guys. And you go ahead, Jamie, say my line.
No, I don't want to because I don't like it. I just want to.
Jamie hates my line. Confirmed. We got an 8.425 on the Phase Hero score for episode 5 of Daredevil Born Again. That is clearly our average is above average. The 8.4 is a good score. I think that's pretty fair. I feel like we feel good about that. And the chat is pretty much in that range. We have a couple low scores, people being harsh on it, saying 5 out of 10, whatever. And you're entitled to your opinions. But for the most part, we're seeing a lot of 8s, 9s, some 7s. Sorry, it gets a 7 from me because I'm a crybaby on the leg snap, says Blaine Stevens. That's funny.
I get it.
Too
That's
violent
fair.
for you. Well, episode 6 is going to get a lower score than that for Blaine Stevens. Aaron, what you thinking?
I'm just laughing. You took a class from John Cena. You led Jamie right into that. Well done.
I just broke up with everybody. All right. Episode number 6 starts with some eyes gouged out. Blaine Stevens loved that part. Jamie, general reaction to episode 6. What'd you think?
I liked it. I wish that I had a week to process the episode before. Truly, like, I'm not just saying that to be difficult. I do wish that they were all week to week. But we got what we've been waiting for. And I will say one thing that does suck about the fewer episodes is that it's like, oh, he's finally Daredevil now. It did take 6 episodes, which in a 22 episode season, 6 episodes is nothing. But so I would understand that complaint. I get it. Didn't bother me. I liked the punchies. Muse is terrifying. I thought it was good.
Would have been episode 5 if there wasn't a filler. I'm just kidding. I had to. I'm full heel mode tonight. I'm just being a heel. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it. If I had to choose between having episode 5 and not having episode 5, 11 times out of 10, I'm keeping it there. Jenna, how'd you feel about episode 6?
You're just missing a small child in the audience to disappoint. Like, that's all you need for your heel turn right now.
We got Hannah Basso says, BD, this is your fault, Hannah Basso. This is your fault.
Is turning on you.
And love everything. And when I love everything, you get mad at me for loving everything. And now I don't. And you're all mad. You're the problem. Who's better, BD or John Cena? You decide. Jenna, what do you think of episode 6?
I did really like this episode. I do agree. Like, it propelled so much forward. I still am in awe that, like, the streaming service that has Mickey Mouse also has all of the bloodletting and the violence and the gore of this episode. Like, it is wild to see. But I do agree with Jamie. I wish that I had gotten to just, like, enjoy this in its own sitting and not necessarily have already watched an episode right before it, because it was a lot to process, like, sitting in that amount of time. But that's also because I'm just not really a binge watcher for, like, most shows of this nature anymore. But I thought it was great. Like, once we get to the third act and those, like, parallel fights happening, that was unbelievable.
Aaron?
I think Joe Jameson just designed a T-shirt. The Phase
villain.
Brenda's got wild new villain gear. No, needless to say, we aren't in Kansas anymore.
It's Al Snow's fault.
That's Al Snow's fault.
And everyone watching.
Something broke inside of him. Something broke inside of a lot of people during this episode. It's a rough time. Rough time for Avery. I'm just like, oh no. I leaned forward during episode 5, and then I recoiled back in horror during episode 6 the first time. I was like, oh no, what are we? Oh man, can we just go back? Like, can we just do Dinner with the Cons forever? I know we're gonna get into all of it, but it is propelling. Like, if you really wanted Daredevil to be the way that people talk about Daredevil on the internet, episode for you. Episode straight for you. Somewhere, I don't think Adam Barhart's come down. We're looking for him. We sent him out there with a parachute. He's just drifting down gently.
Yeah.
That was my drifting down gently.
Translated perfectly in audio.
Episode 6. I I think this episode was a steaming pile of really good storytelling. It was fantastic. I thought that ending, that mirroring of Wilson Fisk beating on Adam, gave him an axe and said, I'll take you anyway. And then on one side, you got Daredevil. He wants to kill Muse. He wants to end that whole son of a bitch's life. And all of a sudden, he's like, I got to save this little girl. I loved it. The heartbeats, telling the story, everything along the way. The sanitation department finds the serial killer before the NYPD does. And Wilson Fisk is like, if you idiots let this get public, you're all out of a job. This is it. This was great. I loved how it started by saying, we know episode 5 was filler. Here's a montage to remind you of everything that happened in the first 4 weeks to remind you we're back on track, baby. Here we go. This is my new arc. I'm gonna make t-shirts that say episode 5 was filler, and they're gonna fly off the shelves.
We just need team filler shirts too for the people on Jamie and I's side.
Filler. No, because I don't like that word.
Team bottle episode.
Team bottle.
That sounds like you guys have a very interesting weekends.
Team bottle.
Thank you for the $4.99. The girls asking for a pick came straight out of the comics. That's from Muse, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Oh, we got $10 from Ryan Britson. Thank you so much, and thank you for the $4.99, Hannah. All right, let's run through episode 6. Muse's victims. Woo! We see the eyes gouged out to start the episode, reflective of Muse's mask right there on the shore, right there outside of New York City. Quickly gets back on the show's trajectory that was in the first 4 episodes by those flashbacks of Foggy, of Karen, of all the things that have happened in the first couple episodes of Daredevil Born Again. Heather and Matt going well until they're not. She starts asking about vigilantes, and she clearly is not team vigilante. And I feel like this is like a South Carolina fan trying to date a Clemson fan. I feel like this is the left trying to date the right. This is a house divided. Not that either of them are necessarily a villain in either one of those cases, but I think they're not going to get along. And she shouts out, you've represented a few, referencing vigilantes. Spider-Man reference? I know it's a Punisher reference, but is that because she said a few? She said a few. Who's she talking about? Jessica Jones?
White Tiger just happened. So.
Yeah, White Tiger.
White Tiger. I guess there's a few. I just wanted a Spider-Man reference. I didn't really
take it that she was anti, more that she was interested in the psyche, like kind of a thing. I didn't I'm not saying she's pro either. She's coming at it from like a professional medical kind of point of view that she just wants to learn more about, is how I took it.
And I think for Matt, it's kind of this thing of like wanting to keep those two sides of his life separate. And also, like, as we see across these 2 episodes, he's really like questioning whether or not he wants to get back into being Daredevil. And so I think having that romantic relationship, but knowing that she's like getting closer and closer to this other side of him, I think also is what worries him too.
Aaron, have you seen the whole show?
I have not. I've not seen the whole show. I've seen up to this, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm now really concerned.
I might have gotten ahead of myself, but I did think she was not Team Vigilante in that scene. I think she was not pro masked vigilantes in that scene, but she did confirm Uber exists in the MCU.
Importantly.
So, that's big time. That's good to know.
Pretty sure there was Uber in Hawkeye. I could be wrong.
That sounds right.
No, there was definitely Uber in Hawkeye. Now that I say it out loud, it existed for sure.
You think Uber pays for that?
I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe, because otherwise wouldn't they just say rideshare?
Yeah.
My rideshare. If I ever heard somebody say my rideshare is here, if I was dating somebody and they said my rideshare is pulling up,
Jamie's losing.
I'd be like, it's your last ride share from this location.
Yikes.
Are you too good for Lyft? Huh?
We're learning
all right.
so much about you tonight, Petey.
You really are.
Angela is kind of pressing Matt a little bit after Heather was kind of trying to get a little close to him on the vigilante front. I feel like as Matt is leaning more into the Daredevil side, he's getting worse at lying. He's getting worse at covering for himself. People are catching on. He's feeling the pressure. And my man wants to put on the mask. We want him to put on the mask. Statue of Liberty art, holding an assault rifle. Is that not the most like yeehaw America right now thing? Goodness gracious. That art was interesting. Wilson, it falls right in line with all the Punisher art that's popping up and showing in the we've had that conversation already a few times. Wilson Fisk is actually the smartest person in the room, is what I wrote, and I think that that's true. He's also probably the worst person in a lot of these rooms, but I do think he's very intelligent, and it shows when he has opportunities to manipulate any situation. So that moment I referenced where the NYPD got beat by the sanitation department on discovering a trail to Muse, the serial killer, he sees that as this is the negative outcome if you handle it the way you're going to, which is probably the proper way, but this is the negative outcome to that. This is how we turn this into a positive. And he manipulates every situation. He can take any picture in any frame and go like that and make it look how he wants it to look. And he's that's what makes Kingpin such an interesting character, in my opinion. Not the fact that he can like squish your head with a car door. I think it's his ability to manipulate situations.
I definitely agree with you. I also have to say I loved how they like wove in the blood reveal of just having the very kind of lighthearted sanitation guy almost deliver it as a punchline, because like for the Disney Plus audience, for this platform, for like the audience that doesn't know Muse from the comics, I felt like that was a really good way to be like, hey, by the way, this is about to get a lot darker than you thought it already was.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting the dun 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 dun, like, because that's what it felt like. That was like, oh wow, and that was the last bit of levity we got before things.
Was that
got
like
really
Law
crazy.
and Order SVU?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be the She-Hulk, the next She-Hulk Daredevil crossover.
We'd be so lucky.
Spoof. Jack Duquesne popped up. Tony Dalton reprised his swordsman role for the first time since Hawkeye. Gave Kingpin a warning to the big guy. How's that going to go for him? What do we think?
They better leave Jack alone. It hurts, my boy. I love Jack so much. I love Tony Dalton. Big Better Call Saul fan. He's so fun. I've watched Hawkeye a lot, and he's like one of my favorite parts of that show. And it was so exciting to see him. But I am a little worried for him.
Was that him in the phone footage when they're showing the BB report?
I think so.
Yeah, I loved like kind of slow burning that of like, if you know, and then we get to him later in the episode. Like that was the perfect way to kind of tease his return.
Yep, I agree. And Fisk launches a task force, which, by the way, if you're paying attention to some of the things that are coming from the set of season 2, you may have heard this phrase tossed around a little bit. But I won't say more than that because we try. If it's not canon, if it's not an official report, we try not to incorporate it as spoilers. But Fisk now has a task force of NYC's bad apples in the Big Apple. Calls them victims of bad luck. He's sympathizing with them. He's motivating them. He is manipulating them. He is taking advantage of these guys who have done wrong. Even the ones who believe they did right. Usually that's what happens. And now he is taking them to make them his task force, empower them, and hunt vigilantes and whatever else he wants to do. So that's he's got an army. He's got an army now.
That boy always maintains leverage. He just never gives up leverage. It's hysterical. It's almost like he made like an infomercial. It's like, have you ever been beat to within an inch of your life by a blind man in a kitchen? Well, I have how you get your get back right here. It's messed up.
I'm just looking forward to Frank Castle meeting these people, because especially when they all have the Punisher tattoos, it's like he's not going to take this well that they are literally like unionized into a little task force. He's not going to like that.
You know what that's going to sound like?
A lot of screaming. I like that Matt got his little scream too, because like I always love the bit from season 3 of him just like leaning back and screaming. I love that we got that during the fight this episode. Yeah. That was great.
I can't imagine watching them do that on set. Like watching Charlie Cox do the full Daredevil, like he did at the end of episode 2 as well. I think that that'd be, woo, wear the brown pants. Angela goes and investigates Muse herself. And as the story always goes, when the kid tries to get involved, she gets caught and Muse starts draining her blood. He wants to turn her into an NYC graffiti piece. So Matt gets on the case, finds his way down there, and I mean, he was that. If Angela, you think I think he obviously wanted to kill Muse. I think he was willing to do it. He was about to cross that line, and he saw Angela. So I think that part goes without saying. If it had been someone else that he didn't feel a responsibility toward because of what happened with Hector, Do you think he would have just focused on killing Muse and finishing the job?
I don't think so. I think he's still that, like, putting him in the situation of either like tightening the noose, for lack of a better term, or saving the civilian. I think that's the kind of setup that happens in comics all the time and in like just superhero media. So like, I'm glad that we got it, and it made sense to have Angela be the type of person who would be in that scenario. But I think if it was literally anybody, he would probably have the same moral conundrum.
I went full Yusef there. I'm sorry, he didn't see it. Oh, I know, Eric. I know. I loved the way this was shot and directed and edited, with Kingpin beating up Adam like a psychopath and Daredevil unleashing himself on Muse in that underground lair at the end of the train tracks. So yeah, the music also reminded me of Halo a little bit. It was very like, oh, but it wasn't actually Halo. Shout out to the Newton brothers for absolutely killing it. And that's all of my notes for these episodes. They end with that really shocking end point, in my opinion, where Daredevil and go ahead.
I just remembered, I think it was in episode 5, Matt mentions his mother. Because remember, like last week or the week before, I was like, what's the deal with his mom? Because like when the original show ended, it was like, I'm going to need your help. And it's like, are we ever going to acknowledge her again? So I'm glad that like she exists, whether or not we're going to see her. I was really happy that she was referenced.
Yeah. Damon Gray is about to rain on everybody's parade. CPR would not save the blood loss in that scenario, but I shall let it slide because that whole scene ripped. Yeah, I mean, I guess if blood loss was what happened, he was
restarting her heart. It wasn't really like, it was like chest compressions. I always view CPR as like the breathing thing, but I don't know. It's comic books. It's fiction.
What's the Joe Russo when I asked him about casually cosplaying? What's up, man? First thing I thought at the end of the episodes, if Matt is leaving the horn on Foggy's prayer card, doesn't Heather have a key to Matt's apartment? And she said they needed to talk that night. Oh, paying attention, are we? Is Heather catching on to being in a relationship with Daredevil? Ooh. What do you guys think?
I never think anyone's catching on, because it's like, why would you suspect a blind guy? He's really good at being blind.
Yes.
He is blind, but he's good at pretending like he isn't as aware of everything. So I will be shocked if she's like, I figured it out. But you never know. She's smart. She's got a lot going on. Maybe she did.
Big old brain, that Heather. All right. Anything else from episode 6 we want to talk about?
Just like getting big Kingpin back, like getting the actual like plot of him, like his suit's not fitting, is a very interesting thing. I was not expecting that to actually be like a plot beat of this season.
He's eating. I told you last week he was eating that pasta.
This one hurts. Challenger girl, Austin, Texas over here. He got to restart her heart when he heard Foggy stop.
No.
Oh. Stop my heart, why don't you? Wow. All right, we got 3 episodes left before we rate episode 6. Let's get some predictions. Anybody got anything bold? I'm sitting this one out because I've seen them. No.
Okay. Well, we knew that Kamal's dad and Jack were going to be in the show. Like that was previously announced. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got at least one surprise, even if it's that kind of lower level character. Like we knew both of those were coming. So I'm waiting for somebody who we didn't know about still.
All right.
I'm going to jokingly say the bit that I've been trying to do this whole season, which is Jen Walters. Acknowledge that she exists.
Yes.
We think we get ninjas. We think we get the hand. Something crazy happens. Something
Dragon
wild,
Bones.
just crazy nonsense. Because the Defenders shows, they're slowly, more and more of the Netflix stuff is starting to creep in from the edges. So I'm like, what's the most bat whatever thing that everybody kind of like was like whatever about that could come in here into play? Frank got to have more than just dirty cops to shoot. Got to.
We got a few predictions here from the comments. Damon says, I predict Angela gets the white tiger suit and gets blind spotted either this season or next. Fisk killing the therapist, says Jeff Mez. R.I.P. Heather. Heather is working for Fisk. I'm going big. Oh, Heather's an inside woman. We need a Jessica Jones cameo, says Ryan. Luke Cage, says Will McLean. I want Matt to accidentally step in some web. That would be fun, Jay Lang. I would dig that. I think you could get away with that. Have Jessica or Iron Fist or Luke Cage just sneak in like a phone call. I need a Jen Walters reference at least, says Emma. Elektra shows up at the end after Heather dies. So that's a parlay you just laid down there in that prediction, Judon. You need one and then the other to hit. Give me the entire Khan family and Madison. Luke Cage gets into with the task force. There we go. Doctor Strange cameo. That would be cool. Vanessa girl bosses. Doctor Strange cameo would be wild. I mean, New York has a lot of Wong. Wong for a while. Wong was like the MCU connectivity whisperer.
Yeah.
So Carrie Ann Moss cameo. Bring back Hogarth, huh?
Didn't she die?
Oh,
or she was dying.
Which show are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't think the story ended. I want Karen back. 3 episodes left. You never know what you're going to get, people. At least you guys don't ask for much. Just give me Doctor Strange, Wong, Karen, Jessica Jones, Luke. Listen, I get it. As the person who just said episode 5 was good, but still their least favorite, I get it. All right, Aaron, out of 10 on episode 6.
Man, going first is hard. Go like 8.8 because I'm squeamish.
Wow, that's high. That's pretty solid.
I'm trying to bring the averages up so that people don't yell at y'all on the other platform.
Jamie?
Aaron and I were the same both times for both episodes today. I was going to say 8.8 as well.
Woo!
Okay. All right, Jenna?
I'm going to say an 8.6.
Oh.
8.6. And I will tell you right now, I'm with Jenna on this one. I'm at an 8.6.
Cool.
By 4. What? That puts us at an 8.7. I think we're all being a little generous, but it's okay to like stuff. Whatever. Hannah with an 8, John with a 9, Mush Figure with an 8.5, Judon with an 8.5, Will with a 9, Jake with an 8.6, Jeff with a 9.3, Ryan with a 9, Brandon with an 8.7, Damon 9.2, Eric 8.7, Randy 8.5, Emma. Oh my God, there's so many. Okay, I'm sorry to everybody who's next. I can't read all of these. A lot of 9s, a lot of 8s. Good scores. That is our Daredevil Born Again episode 5 and 6 podcast. Any last words for today's episode, Jenna Anderson?
It's at Hey It's Jenna Lynn on social media. As always, go read some comics. There's some really, really great comics dropping tomorrow. Like it is so much that you could go pick up, but I'm going to recommend Absolute Martian Manhunter #1. It is my favorite single issue of a comic that I have read in recent memory, and you need to pick up a physical copy because it is meant to be read physically, and it is just incredible.
Aaron, is your connection working enough to say some last words?
I think it is.
We can hear you. There you are.
Yeah, okay. There we go. Yes. Jenna's right about Martian Manhunter. It's great. It's at Some League Hornet. It's at Free Space at How to Watch Free TV on Instagram. We actually have a microsode and our first episode coming soon.
And a member of this panel was on the first episode.
Let's go.
I will leave you guys to guess. No one can see. If you're just listening to this, you're like, what happened? Was there clues? You'll just have to come back and watch Phase Hero to watch.
Let's go. Jamie Drack.
Oh goodness! Definitely check out the latest episode of Love in the Time of Hydra. We had Maya Stoyan on, and she played Agent 33 for all of season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she was an amazing guest. She was lovely to speak to. And I don't know, maybe next week, by the time we do another Daredevil episode, one of us is going to be married, and that's pretty cool. So
way to drop that. Way to drop that.
It's not going to be me. Plot twist.
I know. Don't start speculation because some people's theories are going to be way off.
Oh man!
But be smart about it.
Surprising absolutely nobody. Fear and Beard Halloween Horror Nights podcast 199. Thank you. Insert filler shout out here. Some filler love. Is that a bit of an oxymoron for you, Jamie? Some love, but still calling it a filler.
I just got to take what I can get. You know, maybe they meant love for the word filler. Who can I? Who am I to know what these people are thinking in their hearts? I just can't. I can't say.
Madison is still single. To Alex B. I'm wondering the same thing. Casually cosplaying. Where was our Jersey City dinner scene? Thanks for 199. Yeah, maybe we'll get Daredevil with the cons one day. But today, this is all you get from Phase Hero and from Daredevil, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Almost 200 people still watching with us at the end of this episode. Thank you so much. If you're in the Louisville area, I'll be working OVW Rise Thursday night. Please stay tuned to the channel. We might be doing something live on Wednesday morning. So if you like talking about stuff, just have your notifications turned on. Be subscribed to the channel. Follow Twitter, all that stuff. But YouTube's the number one way to just be notified because Twitter sucks and less people are using it all the time. I'm still there, but it's a bummer of a platform, and life is better when you're not on it. I'll say that. So thank you so much to everybody for hanging with us on this fine Tuesday night, this Daredevil doubleheader. Play our show for your dad, play it for your cat. We will see you on Monday, but probably tomorrow morning.